On the precipice of a future or significant failure. That's how the whānau Ora Minister described the current state of the COVID-19 vaccine rollout today. Pēnei Henare met with iwi health providers across Te Tai Tukurau in Whangarau for breakfast this morning to talk mata karuna and lagging Māori vaccination rates. Anei te kai reporter Sam Ollie.
Pēnei Henare, back home, his first trip out of Pōneke since lockdown. Less than 50% of eligible Māori have received their first vaccine in Northland, among the worst rates in the country. The Minister acknowledged the heavy workload for iwi providers, assuring them he had their backs, and the pressure was on DHBs to get more Māori through the door too.
To confront our DHBs to say, you said you would do this, and I'm here to make sure it's happened. Because if it hasn't, there will be repercussions, because we find ourselves on a precipice of a future or a significant failure.
Hui attendees had wero to put to Minita Henare too. They said funding had been piecemeal. Whakawhiti Ora Pai General Manager Errol Murray said his organisation had received money, but it was only to pay for extra staff, not the infrastructure they need.
At the moment we have a workforce shortage up here in the north, and that sort of capacity may not be available. And we don't need FTEs, some of us need camper vans, so that we can be more mobile without having to lease it at these high prices.
Kia ora Ngāti Wai Chief Executive Lynette Stewart said a large part of the problem was that Māori health providers were underfunded going into the pandemic. They needed to be trusted with bigger overarching funding for the rollout.
A lot of the money we've got now, we're so busy accounting for it, it's hard to just let loose and go out. I mean, I bought 2 transit vans a couple of years ago, hallelujah, because it took me 5 years to save up for those. So we're right on the cusp. But a lot of my colleagues here today haven't got those transit vans.
Hauora Hokianga Chief Executive Margaretha Broodcorn said taking jabs to the most isolated communities was working, but not everyone has welcomed vaccinators with open arms.
We had our little protesters across the way, and they had their say, they had their little placards and their little haka that they did.
And complicating matters further, some staff are vaccine hesitant too.
Support us as health providers to go down that path of saying actually all of our kaimahi need to be vaccinated, and as an organisation we currently are sitting at 60% uptake of our staff that are vaccinated. We can't say thou shalt because we're not allowed to, because we'll have our unions on our case.
Te Hauora o Ngāpuhi Chief Executive Te Ropu Poa had one solution for that.
If kaimahi aren't vaccinated, they get tested every week on a Thursday so they don't have to stay home because it's asymptomatic, and then put your trainees there because they'll get sick of getting poked in the nose and get vaccinated.
Minister Henare assured the hui the whakaaro would be relayed to Wellington by his team.
So I'm sick and tired of what a great breakfast it was, and then nothing was sort of followed up on afterwards.
He also met with the Northland DHB, GPs, pharmacists and Whangarei Boys High School students today.